Hey, heart seekers, welcome to the Heart's Hello Show, where we believe that our hearts are the foundation of our well being and happiness. I am your host, Keona Talana. In this episode, I have a simple question for you. And that question is, are you handling you with care? Now, for those of you all who are in a safe space, meaning you're not driving, where you can close your eyes and visualize how you handle something with care. If it's a vase, you're making sure that it's bubble wrapped and you put it up high on a shelf. Let's just say that, it's a cake. You handle that with a different level of care. You carry it differently. But I oftentimes think that we don't handle ourselves with that same level of care. We don't handle ourselves as if we are valuable. We don't handle ourselves as if we don't have treasure within us. And so, as I'm asking this question today, I need you to figure out, what value have you placed on yourself to the point where you are not handling yourself with care? You're not talking to yourself the way that you would like to be talked to. And it wasn't until I actually was sitting this weekend where I didn't really have much to do. So I was kind of Netflixing and watching pretty much everything that was on TV that I can think of. But it wasn't until I had a moment where I got tired of watching the TV. I got tired of scrolling social media. I got tired of doing whatever it was I was doing on my laptop because I had not had the opportunity to check in with me. I had not had the opportunity to check in with my feelings. I had not had the opportunity to make sure that I was in a good mental space because I was just kind of doing stuff. And I know that I cannot be the only person where the day kind of gets away from you and the next day and the next day, but you haven't checked in with you. And so as I was sitting there, I turned off the TV and I just sat there for a moment with my eyes closed, feeling all of the feelings that I had been suppressing and didn't necessarily want to have to deal with, and trying to just figure out, well, why is this happening? Well, what happened with this? And as you're just kind of going through life and things are just lifing, right? But I realized that I wasn't handling me with the proper care that I needed to. I wasn't checking in with me as much as I needed to as life is transitioning and as seasons are transitioning and as life is just shifting. And in seasons where things are constantly shifting, you have to constantly make sure that you are checking in with you even the more. Because so often you get caught up in everything else that is going on around you. And you mishandle the very thing that is so precious, which is you. You are a treasure. You have a value that can't even have a price tag attached to it. That's just how valuable you are. And I oftentimes don't think that we remember that our lives are so valuable, that we are so valuable, and we take things for granted. Now, as we're checking in to make sure that we're good and that we're being handled with care, because ultimately the way that you treat yourself is going to be the way that others are also going to treat you. Because if you can't treat you properly, then how can you expect someone else to treat you any different? They're going to treat you the same way that they see you treating you. And so I want us to get to a place where we are constantly checking in with the most valuable thing on this earth, which is us. We have to be put in a position where we are constantly looking at, how can I get better? How can I make sure that I am okay? How can I make sure that I have checked in with my feelings? How can I make sure that if I am feeling some type of way, that I have now pinpointed why I am feeling that way? Because as we are checking in and doing this self introspection, the way that we can now show up for others is going to be contingent upon how we show up for ourselves. So you oftentimes hear people saying that you can't pour from an empty cup, and that is so true. Because you can't pour out more than you have actually poured in. Or another example of that is going to be you can't make a withdrawal from a bank account that is on negative. You can't take out more than what is there. So with that being said, how can we make sure that we check in with us? How can we make sure that we are handling ourselves with this same level of care for this thing that can break and we could potentially go and buy something else of? That same level doesn't apply to us as a human being. You can't just break and go buy you another you. No, you have to take care of you. You have to make sure that you are eating properly, that you are in your word, that you are checking in with you. Because as you are the best version of you, you then can turn around and be a better version of you for those in your life. And so I would be remiss if I didn't also say that as you handle yourself with care, you also begin to handle those in your sphere of influence, that you handle those who you care deeply about, that you handle those with who you are in relationship with great care as well. Because you never know, hey, they may be going through something. They may be going through something that they are unable to articulate to you. But when you are in a good space, when you are in a good mental space, you can now begin to pick up when someone else may be off. You can now begin to sit down with people and just listen. Not listen for you to be able to respond or for you to be able to chime in on their conversation that they may just be needing to vent to you about something. But you're more in tune with your environment. You're more in tune with the people who are in your life. And so I want you to handle you with care. And as you handle you with care, you begin to handle others with care. Just like they say, hurt people hurt people. When you handle you with value, you can then turn and handle others with that same value. So I want us to get to a place where we are realizing just how valuable we are, just how loved we are, just how amazing we are, and to be excited about this version of ourselves that we are stepping into. We are not the same person that we were a week ago. We are not the same person that we were last year. We should not be the same person that we were yesterday. We should constantly be evolving to be the best version of ourselves that we can be each and every day. And when you are taking the time to really sit with you and to question, where are the areas that I need to work on? How is it that I'm feeling? See, when I was able to turn that TV off and just sit with my thoughts and to sit with how I was feeling about certain things, I was able to realize that, hey, I've been suppressing some stuff, that I can just be busy to be busy. But was that busyness just keeping me from dealing with what was going on in my life right now? And if I'm just totally being honest, and as we're in this day before Valentine's Day, it's like, ooh, whew, it hits a little different. It hits different when you don't have or so we deem that special person in your life where it's like, oh my gosh, I can go out and we're going to do this and it's going to be so blissful. It hits a little different. So I want you to make sure that you are taking the time to be able to feel those feelings and know that it's okay and know that it's not going to last forever. It's just going to be temporary until whomever that person is shows up in your life, and now it's just amazing. But also just realizing too, side note, that every day should be Valentine's Day. Every day should be an opportunity for us to love on each other. Every day should be an opportunity for us to show love, give love, and be loved. And so although they have made it out to be this big day, every day should be love day. We should be showing love every day. And as we are doing that, we are handling ourselves with care. We're making sure that we are okay. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Handle yourself with care. Side note, as you are making sure that you are handling yourself with care, check in on those other areas in your life. How are you? Like I just said, how are you spiritually? Are you making sure that you're tapped in and tuned in? How are you financially? Are you making sure that you're putting aside and being a good steward of your funds? How are you with your career? How are you with your business? How are you? How are your relationships? Handle them with care. Handle them with care. Because these things can be here today and gone tomorrow. And you never want to be in a place where it's like, oh my gosh, I should have. I wish I would have. Only if I had more time. Well, guess what? Your time is now. Your time is now to figure out how you're going to handle you with care, but also those in your life. So I'm excited as we are still traveling through this journey of life. I'm excited that we can have these conversations about what we can do, how we can show up, how we can be better versions of ourselves through this journey. And so as we are thinking about how to handle ourselves with care, let's just make sure that we are empathetic and understanding to those around us, empathetic and understanding even just to ourselves. Because as we are always cultivating empathy and understanding, that means we're striving to just understand the feelings and thoughts and experiences of not just ourselves, but others and from their perspectives. We want to make sure that we are communicating, and not just communicating, but effective communication. Because our communication is going to be essential in how we are handling our relationships with care. And how we just talk to ourselves. Because these things not only include how we express to ourselves, but also how we listen and respond to others. So we have to be clear. We have to be honest. We have to be respectful in our communication. So check in with your communication. Check in with your tonality. Check in with your body language. Check in with all of these things. All of these things communicate either verbally or non-verbally. So let's check in with how we communicate. And then ultimately, again, self-care and reflection. How we handle others is going to start with how we take care of ourselves. So let's just make sure that we're engaging in regular self-care practices. Again, if that means you just taking 5 minutes out of your day to close your eyes, turn off all notifications, and just think, quiet your mind, and see what comes up. See what bubbles up. See what you have been suppressing. See how, just feel the feelings. Just feel the feelings. And if you need to journal how you feel, do so. If you need to call a friend, do so. But let's just make sure that we are handling us with care. And as we handle ourselves with care, that same level will in turn will handle others with. So I just want to thank you for joining me for another episode of the Heart's Hello Show, where together we embrace vulnerability, learn from each other, and spread love, one heartfelt hello at a time.